Welcome to the power of action. The number one difference between those who achieve success and those who don't is action. Because you can have all the beliefs in the world, all the skills in the world, but if you never take action, nothing will happen. Albert Ian Grace said it the best. The common denominator is that the successful are willing to do the things the unsuccessful people aren't willing to do. All inspiration must lead to action, and action requires faith.
Well, I think once you've determined where you want to go, and then sort of set your purpose and passion towards that end, then you just have to go after it.
But if you don't take action, nothing will happen. I think it's a very natural. It's not about what it's not just about taking action, but taking what action. It's about discipline.
It's not net thinking. It's not net organizing my desk. It's not net emailing. It's not net web browsing. It's not net my card filing. It's not net cleaning my office again. And people just net busy themselves right out of the business. It's networking. It's net talking to people. That's what it is. It's net recruiting. It's not net planning, thinking, hoping, wishing, dreaming. It's net doing. That's really what it is. You got to do it.
We all gravitate towards the easy things in our lives. It's the people who are willing to engage and do the hard things. Pick up the phone, make the call. Pick up the phone, call the person you don't want to call. Those are the people who realize a level of success that the average person doesn't. It's the person who's willing to go beyond thinking about the business and really do it, and do the hard things associated with it. Those are the people who succeed.
Once you've set your mind to do it, it's your responsibility to do it, because it's your dream, and it's your responsibility to fulfill your own dreams. No one else is going to do that for you. No one else is going to say, "Oh, here's your dream come true." It doesn't happen. You have to go and get it yourself, and if you want it, you've got to create it.
Time and time again, I read about people who didn't wait around for opportunities to simply show up. Instead, when all else failed, they created them. In the 1970s, Sylvester Stallone was financially broke after writing several scripts that were all rejected. But he didn't give up. He didn't resign himself to the bleak outlook that his goals as a writer were not possible. Instead, he began taking action and looking for his break. Then, one night, in 1975, he found himself inspired by watching a boxing match between Chuck Wepner and Muhammad Ali. Although the odds were greatly against Wepner, 30-1, he surprisingly withstood 15 beating rounds before being defeated by the great Muhammad Ali. Returning home that night, Stallone began writing the script that would not only change his life, but became the mega hit movie Rocky. Written in 3 days, created on a budget of $1 million, and filmed in 28 days, Rocky is one of the biggest successes in the film industry, grossing hundreds of millions of dollars.
成功者，以我来讲啊，成功者你就是因为你要做的事情呢，你的伙伴呢一直都在看，所以在我团队里边，我一直强调一件事情，就是要所谓的一个真正的成功者，他的言行，他的一举一动呢，他都要很谨慎的，因为下线很多一直在看，以他当为一个楷模，所以呢，必须要是一个很严谨的，所以这个是我个人的认为，这个是一个非常重要的。那么特质。那么，我给他们的一个讲法是，永远保持动的状态，就所谓的像我个人的一个人生哲理哦。那么就7个字：动到不能动为止，就是一直保持动，一直保持动，一直保持动。因为所带领的团队或者下线的，他们所看到的，我的这个上线的，他一直在动着，一直在动着，一直在动着，那么很自然的呢。他们就会一直跟随，一直上来的，这个是一个非常非常重要的一个观念。
I would say that this business provides you with an open door. it's up to you to walk through it. Because you see, this business will work for you if you work for it.
You have to realize that this is a great business. You are involved in a tremendous business, one that can bring you great results. But you have to take action, and you must not give up. Once you've decided what your goal is, you just have to pursue it relentlessly without giving up, or without even the thought of giving up. You just have to keep working until you get there.
夢、目標、これ立てることはすごく大事ですよね。ただですね、3つの過ぎずっていうのをね、私もね、とても大切にしてます。一つは高すぎず、一つは遠すぎず、一つは多すぎず。この高すぎず、遠すぎず、多すぎずっていうものを、気にしながら夢と目標を立てます。で、その夢と目標を立てるときは、どうしてその夢と目標を実現したいのか、本当になぜそれをやっていきたいのか、自分と向き合うんですよね。そこがすごくしっかりしてると、本当にどうしても成功したい夢、目標が立てられて、実行可能な計画を立てられて、そして楽しんでやる実践っていうのをね、やることができます。最後は PDCA ですよね。プラン、ドゥ、チェック、アクションっていうね、3ヶ月とか1ヶ月とか、毎週とか、そういうスパンでいつもですね、サイクルを持って自分の計画を見直して、いつもやり直していく。やり直すことに、または計画をし直すこと、作り直すことに、どんどんね、恥ずかしがらずに勇気を持ってください。はい。そして、いつも自分のね、計画とか目標にピタッと合うね、すごく馴染んだ、そういった目標の持ち方とか計画の立て方をね、作ることがね、必ずできるようになるんですね。それまでぜひ頑張ってください。
The person that wins in this business is the person that gives everything they have every single day to make a difference in people's lives. The people that sit back and think, oh, maybe I'll talk to somebody or maybe I won't. I need to watch a little TV, maybe watch the news, watch a little Seinfeld. They're the people that generally don't find the success that the people that are constantly putting their best foot forward.
There's a characteristic that defines a successful distributor, and it's productivity. And I don't care whether you're in this business or whether you're in a traditional business, the people who rise to the top are the people who are productive. And it really is a critical component in this business that, that you be in action all the time.
Taking action requires a big belief in yourself and in your dreams. Once you have a belief, then you must act. Howard Schultz, founder of Starbucks Coffee Company, says, "What distinguishes the talented person who makes it from the person who has even more talent but doesn't get ahead? Part of what constitutes success is timing and chance, but most of us have to create our own opportunities and be prepared to jump when we see the big ones that others don't see." Even in the face of setbacks and critics who said his idea for coffee shops would never work, he never let that stop him from achieving success. He just kept acting, and when he didn't get the result he wanted, then he tried a different approach. But most importantly, he held on to the vision of what he wanted, and he literally believed he could turn that idea into reality.
Belief is a necessary part of succeeding in anything. You need to understand the construct you're going after, and then you've got to believe in it enough to motivate forward action. The moral doctrine is out there in almost every culture that faith without works is dead. Just believing isn't enough all by itself. You have got to get out of the house and go out there and do things consistent with those beliefs, or else one will never be successful.
Because you don't accomplish anything until they see it themselves, because they still can't take action with a lecture.
I think
when people come into the business, they really need to know what do they want in life. For me, what happened is in the beginning, we were building a house, and I know I wanted to move into that house so bad, I was willing to do anything extra to make extra money to make our ends meet. So when I was introduced to Nu Skin by chance, I thought, oh, the person who introduced me in the business is making $2,400. And my brain clicked. I said, okay, I can't do it immediately to make $2,400 a month, but give me 1 year. If the second year I can make $2,400 a month, that is $30,000 extra part-time business, plus my original salary of $54,000, that makes $30,000 extra. I can do that. If I do that, the house is mine.
Many people don't take action because they're not certain what the end result will be. And it's in this place of the unknown that we begin to doubt. We think, what if I fail? What if I lose face? What if I embarrass myself? What will my family and friends think? And we think, what if? What if? What if? It's been said that the biggest misuse of our imagination is worry. And so to reduce the feelings of worry, fear, uncertainty, or anxiety, we decide not to take action at all. But remember what Price Pritchett said, if you're gonna doubt anything, doubt your limits.
You know, when I very first started into Nu Skin, I had a lot of dream stealers. We had 1,000,001 people tell us that this company would never work, that you could buy skincare in a gas station, you know, that you're not going to be successful. And if I had listened to them, and Blake had listened to them, and we'd listened to them on the same day, Nu Skin wouldn't have been here because we would have quit. My favorite, I should say, saying is, our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt. Shakespeare said it. And once you've set your mind to do something, you've sort of gotten beyond the fear of attempt. But then you need to get rid of those doubts, because those doubts will just mess with your mind. So don't let dream stealers, naysayers, and doubts change your course. Make sure that you just stay focused on what you want to do. Set your mind and your heart to what you want to do, and then just do it.
Some people choose not to take action because they say they're content with their current situation. But upon closer inspection, we almost always find someone who just doesn't want to step out of their comfort zone, even if life outside their comfort zone would be all they ever dreamed of and more. They're just coasting. And remember, coasting usually means you are heading downhill.
Entropy is a law of physics that basically says that nature tends towards chaos. And it takes energy to not degrade and go with the flow and end up at a low place rather than a high place. It takes energy to turn that natural tendency around and go forward. And so the success that people achieve in this life sometimes is simply a measure of how much energy they're willing to apply to bringing excellence to their life as opposed to letting gravity simply carry them down to mediocrity where everybody else is, and do the minimum that's required of them.
Some people don't take action because of perception of inadequate resources. Many think, well, I don't have the education, the money, the skills, the talents. They think, I don't have what he or she has. However, when you study high achievers, you realize many of them didn't have the education, talent, resources, or any other special advantages. Oprah came from a dysfunctional and abusive childhood. Albert Einstein didn't speak until he was 4 years old. Thomas Edison only had 3 months of a formal education. William Lear, the creator of Learjet Corporation, dropped out of school in the 6th grade. Yet each of these achievers have gone on to become great successes. Bottom line is, they took what resources they did have, even if it was small amounts of time or small amounts of money, and they made the best of it.
We do have time to pursue the business. It's a question of being disciplined enough to really recognize opportunities of time to pursue the business, to recognize that we do have time in the car to make some phone calls, that we do have time to be on the internet at night returning email messages or preparing presentations.
Anyone who knows me will tell you that one of my personal pet peeves is people who are late everywhere they go. It doesn't matter how close or how far they live from their next appointment, they will be late. What is the flaw in their mindset that causes them to be chronically late? They don't start soon enough. They wrongly assume that they have plenty of time, or they underestimate the time it will take to make the journey.
You know, we live only in the now, in the present. The future hopes that we have, our past memories that we have, are only relevant to the success we have in life to the extent that they inform the decisions that we make right now. Our whole life spins on this needle-thin fulcrum that we make decisions on right now. Nobody was ever successful because of something they're going to do tomorrow. And successful people have become successful because of decisions that they made always right in the here and now. And so as we're trying to change our lives and we're trying to get to higher ground and do more things, it's critical that we realize that it's all about right now. It's not about what we think we're going to do, what we want to do at some future time. It's what we're going to do right now. And when we master the moment, when we master ourselves so that right now we find the stamina to keep working when we want to quit. Right now we find the courage to go on when we're afraid. Right now we find the goodness and the morality to do the right thing when all the pressures are to do something wrong. That's what will define a great life. And ultimately, that's what's going to lead us to be successful.
The same is true in business. One of the greatest mistakes some people make when planning out their journey towards success is they procrastinate taking action. They don't have any sense of urgency. In the off chance that you might be someone who struggles with taking action, let me draw your attention to a couple of important facts. First of all, there is a ticking clock in life, and success is a race. It's a marathon, not a sprint, but it is a race. The dream life you desire is truly out there, but there are others wanting that same life and are headed in the same direction as you are. If you don't get up and go after your dream life, don't worry. Someone else will get there, and they'll live it for you. Now, if that's not okay with you, then stand up and take action today.
It is nice to have great thoughts, but if you just sit there and contemplate and analyze and think about it, you won't get anywhere. You must take action. Without action, you cannot expect any results.
Be productive. I hate to waste things or waste time. There's not enough time in this life. I feel like I'm in a race all the time, you know?
Another reason people don't take action is because they don't have a plan. How do you expect to get where you want to go without a plan? Many wake up each day wondering what to do next. Can you imagine how much time and energy goes wasted with this strategy? You've got to give your mind direction. You must have a strategy in place, drawing upon the best practices of others who are successful, and then have a clear expectation of when your goals will be accomplished.
It's really fun to plan what you're going to do. Everybody's a heroic planner. And in the very beginning of this business, my sister was going to do all the sales stuff because that was not my thing. I was going to do the business stuff because I was a business finance graduate. And so I went and bought a Wall Street Journal and set it on my desk and wrote out some plans. And that was fun. It was great. And nothing happened, of course. I'm a big believer in planning, but that's got to be a small portion of your time. You just have to leap in and start doing it, because that's when you start sorting out what works for me, what fits with my personality, what fits with my values, what fits with my vision of the future and lifestyle that I want to have. You can't really just sit and do it alone in a room and figure out how to accomplish all that. You have to go and start doing it and then adjust and say, ooh, that's not working. That made my nose bleed. I'm going to switch and do it a little bit this way. I'm going to switch and do it. So the most important element of our business always has been work. When we get people who are willing to work harder than other people, they have a lot more success than other people, because there's a plan in place that they can follow, that they can have confidence in, they can trust, so they can just throw themselves at it and work, and amazing magic things happen. But if they're only willing to work at it a little bit, their dreams are not going to come true.
I realize a lot of people like to make plans, great plans, think in their heads what they're going to do down the road, But if you just sit there and contemplate and analyze and criticize and think without action, you get nowhere. Just think, how can you expect results if you sit there? So action is a critical piece. You must take action. It is good to plan. I'm not saying they shouldn't plan, but planning without action is an exercise in futility.
And then you match with our business model, and then therefore, how much commissions you need to earn so that we can achieve that, right? And then commissions will not come until you build a network, and then therefore, how big a network do you need to build? And the network will not come until you really start talking to people. So how many people that I need to talk to every day, okay? And before you can talk to anyone, you need to invite people. So how many calls do I need to make? So you break down from the very big thing into very, very, very small thing that you must deliver on a daily basis.
When you develop a plan, here are a few steps to consider. Identify the goal in detail. Know why you want it. Identify potential obstacles. Determine the solutions to those obstacles. And based on those solutions, choose what action steps you will take within the next 2 days to move closer to achieving your goal.
For me, the simple task of creating a to-do list and prioritizing the things on that to-do list help me stay disciplined on a daily basis. In those days where I am even too distracted at the beginning of my day to really even chart out the things that are most important that day that I have to do that day, those days are wasted. And I find myself at the end of the day just feeling like I didn't use my time effectively. So for me, I have a dramatic improvement in productivity when I simply take 5 minutes at the beginning of the day, or even better, the end of the day before, to plot out the most important things that I have to do the next day. And simply checking those things off on a daily basis improves my productivity dramatically.
これはもう普段自分の行動パターンにあるんですけども、最初はもうとても自分の今の現状からは手の届かないような大きな目標であっても、常日頃常にそのプラス思考で物事を捉えていたら、それが一歩一歩だんだんその手の届く範囲まで近づいていきます。ですから基本的にはもう強力なプラス思考で全てのことに臨んでいくということが重要だと思います。
We were goal setters right from the get-go, and a lot of people didn't think we were going to make it because both of us were so strong-willed. But with goals in mind, there's something to really strive for. It's a passage that you go through, and there are passages all through life that you go through and accomplish. And when one goal is set and you meet it, you make more goals.
We get asked what are the fundamentals of the Nu Skin business. I suppose that these are the fundamentals of every business. The big question that a Nu Skin distributor tends to have is, what do I need to do next? What should I be doing right now? Most of the energy that we use that we expend in trying to move our Nu Skin businesses forward is wringing our hands wondering what we should be doing. And so the sooner we can come up with a to-do list, these are the things that I need to be doing. The next time I've got an hour to devote to the business, here are my priorities. I need to accomplish these several things, is huge, because it keeps us from being paralyzed by that indecision and that uncertainty about what I should be doing. That's true of any enterprise we go into. It's what do you want, and what do I need to do right now to move me closer to that objective?
I love the word in our mission statement, force. It's a principle of physics. It has to do with mass times acceleration. In my mind, those who want to be a true force, they may have a unique talent in order to take action and be successful, but even when they don't, their ability to attack whatever goal it is that they have. In other words, accelerate towards the obstacle is what allows them to overcome it. The more quickly you accelerate towards your obstacle, the greater the force you have, the easier it is to overcome.
For some people, the obstacle that prevents them from achieving true success is not a lack of action. It's a lack of focus. Too much action in too many places. Let me give you just a little test to see if you're one of those people that sees opportunity everywhere. You ever been to a theme park? Big parking lot? You know, most people, they get to the park, they sit in line, they pay to park. They might be a little grumbly that it costs $7 or $8 or $10 to park their car, but they pay, they park, and they get in, and they go have fun. Are you one of those people that as you go through the parking lot, you start thinking to yourself, wait a minute, $7 to park per car? How many cars are in this place? I wonder how much money this place makes in parking in one day. I wonder how much that would be in a week. If this hits close to home to you, if you've had this conversation in your own mind or with somebody with you in a car, you have what we like to call the entrepreneurial curse. You know, this entrepreneurial curse, it's like a pair of glasses. Some people are blessed with these special glasses in their mind that allow them to see opportunity where others just don't see it. In fact, those special glasses are probably what led you to this point. You learned about Nu Skin, you recognized it as a great opportunity for you and your family, and you took action. Way to go. But if you don't remove those magic glasses now and focus on the opportunity at hand, you will quickly be swept away in a dizzying flood of distractions that you just can't resist. We all know someone who spends their entire life like a pinball, bouncing constantly from one opportunity to another, never really committing to anything. Always convinced there's something easier, faster, better just around the corner. It's because they didn't have the self-discipline to remove their opportunity glasses. They put those little glasses on and they think they're headed in the right direction, and then out of nowhere off to the left, they see something, they go, wait a minute, maybe that's a great opportunity. And while they're going, yeah, that's the right opportunity, then suddenly something over on the right side, and they're like, wait a minute, maybe it's that one. And they spend their whole life looking around at all these great opportunities, and they never stop and focus on one opportunity. On and on it goes. You saw opportunity here, you took action to get this far. Now continue to take focused, disciplined action in a forward and straight line. Success is straight ahead.
I've seen lots and lots of people come through the business who have all the talent in the world and who would be great at this. But a month into it, they're distracted and off they go to the next thing because it's just more fun. But there can be no success, you know, unless you can manage to start an internet company and sell it 6 months later to Google. It seems to me like everything else on earth requires the ability to just stay on track consistently, working, making your entrepreneurial endeavor come true.
What I say is, if I can do it, you can do it. Anybody can do it. I really feel that a lot of people, they do a lot of busy work, but they don't do productive work.
And being a leader, it is very important. If you're not focused, your distraction will be not only be duplicated but also be multiplied. So if you want your organization to be very much focused, with what they will be doing, you need to be 200%, 300% more focused than they are. And it's only when a leader can be so much focused, the organization can be focused as well.
I have to say in the beginning, I really did not know what focus is all about. But as I attend different Nu Skin meetings, I remember I heard a story about when racehorse, when they're on the racetrack, they have blinders on and they only see the front. So they don't get distracted to what's happening on the side. And I think that's exactly what happened to me. I knew I wanted to become an executive. I wanted to make $2,400 a month. That is what I wanted. Whatever I need to do, I need to reach that. And I did not worry about any other things happening. I remember close to 1 year into business, there are other people that come in and say, oh, Marguerite, oh, you're doing network marketing. I have this other great network marketing company. You got to come and take a look. It can make money, blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. And I says, I have a regular job. I have 2 kids. I have family. I have a husband. And I'm doing Nu Skin as a part-time. I don't want to do 2 or 3 network marketing to, people call it diverse yourself. I call it, it'll dilute myself. So I figure, okay, I'm just going to do Nu Skin. I'm going to do one. I told them, between you and I, whichever one hit $10,000 first, we come back to each other. And then we'll discuss at that time what's going on. Naturally, all these people that never came back to me, and I reached my $10,000 a month in 2 years.
You know, so the power of focus is so absolutely critical in our business. You know, I've heard one of our leaders, one of our team elite leaders, who says you have to have a laser focus to succeed in this business. One of the biggest distractions is TV. Now, why? Why is TV a distraction? Well, because it's a whole lot easier to sit in front of your TV than it is to go out and talk to somebody about network marketing. It's a whole lot easier to, to organize your tax papers on a monthly basis than it is to go out and talk to somebody about this business. And ultimately, that will lead to the distributor's demise in this business. They will fail, and it's categorical. You will fail if you lose your focus on the fundamentals of this business.
Actually, a lot of people work very hard. And they also actually try very hard and give the best. They thought they give the best. But again, focus. Where is the focus? Are you focused on the several things that you identify that would lead to your success, or identify by your upline, from their past experiences, the several things that you need to really focus on and work on it? If you're putting your best effort into the wrong thing, you will end up with a wrong result.
I think the action is very important, but of course, you're just running around like a chicken with a head. That doesn't do any good for you. So you have to thinking through it and to really have a clarity and a focus to achieve the results.
Focus, of course, is necessary to be successful in anything. We all have limited bandwidth, some of us more limited than others. I know that better than most. When we decide on a horse that we're going to ride, we need to give that horse the attention that it needs to get to the end of the journey. If we're constantly getting off and trying out other horses, we find ourselves at the end of the day having worked real hard, but we're still in the corral.
I go back again to my grandmother, because anytime any person goes into too much thinking, remember the little saying, too much analysis causes paralysis? My grandmother understood that very well. And she always said that if you were not in action, you allowed your mind to take over you. And I, as an 8-year-old one time, or 9-year-old, I don't remember, I had a tantrum. And I was crying, and I had all these bad emotions going on. And my grandmother, she hardly ever spoke to me. She grabbed me by the arm, took me into the garage, put me on the bicycle, and she said, go for a ride. And I will tell you, after I was in action for about half a block, there were no tears coming out of my eyes. And I believe you cannot cry while you're riding a bicycle. So if you start just thinking, fine, think for a minute and then get into action, because it's the action that's going to allow you to connect to the result.
I'll never forget my freshman year of college football. I was standing on the sideline in one of the very first practices, watching some of the more experienced players out tossing a ball around. One of the coaches walked past me and he said, hey, don't stand on the sidelines too long or you'll start thinking you belong there. I've never forgotten that. My friend, get off the sideline and get in the game.
It's time to start living the life you imagined. Henry James said it, and I wholeheartedly agree. It's your turn. You have made correct choices to get to this moment, and now it's time to step up and start living. Let's you and I take action together right now. Grab your workbook or some paper and write down the action you have neglected to take, but will commit to taking today. Tell yourself you will not just talk about success anymore. You are now going to live it. And people around you will see you living it by the actions you take every day, every day. Too many modern self-help programs want people to believe all they have to do is think positive thoughts and success will find them. Not true. Or perhaps I should say half true. Positive thoughts must precede the action, but there has got to be action. So your first of many great actions is to write down and commit to a list of actions you will make today that will step you closer to the life you want to live. As always, watch this video over and over, and I'll see you very soon with the next ingredient in this success formula.